Flosstube, it's Sian here, Periwinkle Stitcher. Today is Tuesday the 23rd of September and this is Flosstube 17. I'm a week late actually coming to you because I went on holiday sailing to Croatia with my lovely old friend Karen and Phil and Carl, and we had a great time. I was going to aim to film on Friday last week when we got back, but unfortunately I picked up a dreadful cold. I think it was probably COVID. Lost my taste, just couldn't bear to go under a shower, you know, felt really quite awful. So I'm just about better, and I thought I've got to film today because I've got so much to show you. And actually I'm flying to Kentucky tomorrow. I am going to an event that I booked last year at Walton's Creek with Ben Ashby. So I've got to sort myself out, clear all my stuff that I've been working on away so that I can plan to attend this workshop, you know, with kind of like not all stressed out. I'm going to Nikki Franklin's workshop at Walton's Creek, and Ben Ashby himself is a photographer. I don't know much about him. He's an artist. I follow him on Instagram. He takes the most beautiful photographs of America. And I think it's going to be like really a fall-y type event with lots of pumpkins and apple pie. He lives in on a farm. I think it was his grandmother's. And it's at, Walton's Creek. I'll put a picture in at the end. I think there are still 2 spaces left, and there are quite a few people I know going. I know Barry Hamby from Stitch Folk is going. You know, Barry makes all the stunning bags and has got a Flosstube. Also, Merritt Crawford is going, and she's got a Flosstube. Merritt is Just So Because. And actually, me and Merritt have started a little stitch along. I've made very slow progress, and I didn't even fish it out. But I've got a photograph of the Nikki Franklin kit that we're doing together. It's a little hydrangea Christmas wreath. So we're going to take that and stitch on it together when we're there. And one of the other people that I know is going is Lisa Primson Greenway, who's got a Flosstube and is I met when she came out to Portbury for the Stacey Nash retreat. So there's going to be lots of lovely people there. There's another lady on Instagram, Christina Lewis, that said she was going to try and get a ticket. So there are a few spaces left. If anyone would be keen to go out to Kentucky next Saturday. There's also a big, what they call a Southern Supper on the Friday night, where everyone just takes and eats a plate. And I think Ben's going to let me off because I'm coming from Wales. I don't know what I could cook, you know, when we get to America. So hopefully it's going to be great fun. We're flying into Nashville for 2 nights, staying at the Hermitage Hotel where all the presidents have stayed. And I've actually stayed there before, just before COVID hit and we all went into lockdown. That autumn before, me and Phil took an incredible road trip. We flew into Nashville and picked up Harley Davidson bikes. And I rode a huge bike, because over here I ride Ducatis or BMWs, and in the States it's the perfect place because the roads are so straight and so like quiet, really, compared to Britain. You can kind of like you can, it's okay to have a massive bike, you know. So I hired a Harley, and I was petrified, I'm not gonna lie. When we picked it up in Nashville I nearly panicked, but we rode it on down to Memphis. I have got a picture of me and Elvis, and when next time on my next Flosstube, I've never told you about this road trip. I'll tell you a bit more about it then. It's not for today, but it was the most incredible trip. We rode the Route of Tears, the Trail of Tears, Route 65, not the Route 66 that's very famous, but this was such an incredible trip. We followed the Mississippi down from Nashville through Memphis, stayed at the Peabody for a night and saw the ducks, you know, in the hotel. And then we went down through Graceland and followed the Mississippi all the way down. We went on a swamp trip on the boat and ended up taking the bikes back to Harley Davidson in New Orleans. So we had a couple of nights in New Orleans and went on the last steam paddle boat. It was an incredible trip of a lifetime. And I misunderstood what Route of Tears meant. You know, I thought it was, because there was always bits of cotton on the side of the road, I thought it was the slave trade route of tears for that reason, but it wasn't. It was about the original American settlers that were kind of, you know, removed from their homeland when all the towns were being set up in that region of the States. So it was the original American Indian people that was their route of tears as they had to move from their homeland. So yeah, I learned a bit of history as well. So yeah, that was an incredible trip. So I'm so excited to be going back to Nashville. I just hope I feel a little bit better. I want to go straight into Nashville, you know, the live music, Tootsie's bar. And I've got photos from years ago of our trip there, and hopefully get myself a pair of cowboy boots. I bought a couple of pairs of Dan Posts a few years ago, but I could do with a new pair. So yeah, so that's it. It'd be great if anybody wanted to get the last few tickets. I'm sure Ben would be delighted to sell them. And of course, Nikki Franklin, who I just adore everything she does. I've seen the kit piece that she plans to release. It's available on a pre-order as well on her website, but we're going to get it and we're going to be painting some of the fabric. It looks a little bit like the postcard I did of autumn, postcards from England with the little autumn trees and the cottage peeping through, and it's got some sheep in the foreground. It's a stunning piece, so I'm really excited to be starting to work on a new kit there. And yeah, so that's what's coming up. And then of course, when I get back, I need to be picking up all my whips that I've ironed here to show you. And then it'll be time for Nicola Partman's Academy in Swindon. And so many people are coming to that. I can't wait. Brenda and Laura obviously are coming. And Audrey, Stitch Bead, and Steph, Lake Girl Stitches, and so many other fantastic, my friend Britta, and my lovely quilty friend Christy will be there, so it's going to be lovely. I can't wait, and I'm sorry if I missed your name out, but there are so many people going to Nicola Partman's retreat in October. It's going to be great. Anyway, let's get started. Without further ado, we'll get on, crack on, because I've got a lot to share. So I show all the time I share my book of days with my fabulous, very blinged up paperclip from Caroline Free, which we had my friend at the Peakside Retreat. She's Tilly and Arthur Handmade on Instagram. And I've got quite a few, my Currington Spruce, I'm going to have those on every month because that's from my Bicon Stitches Quaker 2 finish. I've got a Palomino Weeks, which is from one of my Stacey Nash rabbit finishes. I've got my lovely little button cards, which has come off one of my wool strawberry zipper pulls from Nancy, 5 times blessed. And of course, a new Lorry charm has been used. And this from my lovely friend Jill Canton Linens, who shared with me a Jane Austen. Or was that Maureen? I think that was from Maureen Abramson, that I shared with you last time. It's got that lovely shop. In fact, I think I've still got the card from Maureen's Craft Corner and 4 Irish Eyes on Instagram. And Maureen had opened her Etsy shop. I don't think she's shipping to the UK, but all you American girls can go and support Maureen because she was so kind to me. And I've been using my Primrose Cottage American U little needle minder, which I'll show you on a new start, which was very appropriate because it's got sheep on it. So that's my September progress so far. You can see I was away for quite a long time, sailing 10 days. Oh gosh, I didn't mention we went into Dubrovnik and stayed there for 2 nights. What a stunning place. It was full of Americans, all wine tasting and on the tours, you know, with the leader with a flag at the front. And Dubrovnik is stunning. It's heavily influenced by everything Italian. The food is very Italian feeling. The drink of the season this year is obviously a Hugo Spritz. Aperol Spritz has moved on from orange now to the Hugo Elderflower, which I love elderflower. So Hugo Spritz is my new favourite cocktail. And the whole city was just walled beautiful, old, and just hugely tasteful, and everything about Croatia is just gorgeous. If you get a chance to go to Dubrovnik for a weekend, I thoroughly recommend it. I'd never been before. I've been to Split, and that's stunning, but I'd say Dubrovnik is even more beautiful. And of course, back in the 90s, every evening, you know, Sarajevo would be on the news for the terrible war they had, and when Yugoslavia split, and you know, Sarajevo is only, I think it's not that far up the road from Dubrovnik, so it's you can see reminders of that war as you're walking around. Anyway, let's get started on my stitching. So I did have two finishes. You won't be surprised at this. This comes in my Stacey Nash little cowslip bag, and this was the Leaping Rabbit sewing pouch in Pinky. And finally, I finished all parts to this. I stitched this when I was in France earlier in the summer, and finally I finished it. I did finish it like Stacey recommended, which was to use the Blackberry Primitives rose wool. That was the same colour wool as we used to finish the gingerbread house, remember, in the Christmas class? And so I had enough wool left, I think. I don't think this was given to us, but I can't remember. Maybe this was provided to us in the finishing kit, because we had the whole kit. And this was stitched on Blackberry Primitives 36 count Fossil, which is a beautiful sort of browny grey colour. And it's quite a loose weave, I would say, 36 count, with all the specialty stitches and this beautiful edge on it done in Weeks Dolphin. So Stacey based this design on a real cottage that she saw on her trip to Cornwall, and just fell in love with the thatched roofs. And this is all specialty stitches that took a long time, but are so effective and beautiful. And lots of violets for the rabbit eyes and the door in Dolphin. So yeah, just such a pretty stitch, and just love it. And I just put a little pin with some vintage buttons on the back there to give it a little something, but I think it just speaks for itself. It didn't need more finishing than that. So that was the pin keep. And then the bag, I think I'd finished the front before, and this time I finished the back. This is in the contrasting, like a dark brown grungy 36 count Blackberry Primitives called Salem. So this time I stitched all of the rabbit and the grass, the little pink flowers there, and put a patch on just with some leftover, that's the same linen as the front, and a little bit of wool. And then I just went out in the garden and picked some of the dried grasses and some of the persicarias that are starting to dry off, and some little dried grasses from the garden. I just thought that was pretty, because I had ordered some dried flowers on Etsy. Well, I thought I had, but I hadn't checked out properly, and now I won't bother. I've saved myself some money. So I just tied those together and popped them in the bag. Isn't it cute? And it's the first bag finish, and I've got lots of these type of charts from Stacey. I've got a Liberty pouch, and I saw Christy Crosshatch Quilts do a gorgeous finish of, is it Boos and Babbies? She finished her autumn one into a bag. I've got that chart, and I was going to do mine as a pillow. I probably will finish it as a pillow. So this is so pretty. I'll be hanging it off one of my quilt ladders or something. Isn't it lovely? And this was an exclusive chart for the Cowslip Studio retreat in May. So this should be released, I'm sure, you know, within the year. This will be coming out, and I can't recommend it. It's such a pretty pair of finishes on that chart. So that is my finish for this time, and I'm afraid that's all I had. So that was that. And then I'll start to show you my whips. Okay, I've got a lot of whips this time. Now, you know, I always start showing my, I always start with Lottie, my very favourite piece. And in my gorgeous bag from Barry Hamby at Stitch Folk, specially designed for this project, finished with all these gorgeous fabrics and Nancy 5 Times Blessed sampler maker scissor fob, and apparently Nancy might be doing an advent calendar, so that's something to keep an eye out. Now this was a special kit from the Homespun Needlework group on Facebook, and they continue to release the most fantastic exclusive kits, and it was the Colorado cross stitcher who's got her shop, Sherry Colorado cross stitcher, that was supplying this exclusive kit at the time, and I think I got the third release. Charlotte Warrington, 1838 by Needlework Press, and mine is signed by Vicky. I've got a photograph of me at Vicky's house holding my progress at the time up, and this is kitted with all the glorious Weeks Dye Works thread. And look, you won't believe this. Now years ago, if you'd have told me that I would have used up nearly a whole skein of curry, which I now can't find, I would have said, no, that is the most horrible colour. I won't be using a full skein of curry on anything. But I don't know, it just works on this project. Yeah, look, I've nearly used a whole skein of curry. So these are the beautiful threads, quite bright. And that blue, what's it called, peacoat? Blue coat. Blue coat blue is just stunning, and I've used it this time. Let me show you. I can't wait to show you actually. So many of the colours are multiple skeins of them. So like Red Rocks, I must be on my third Red Rocks. So this is where, now she's so big I can't even put her on a board. This is on 40 count week straw, which is just the most fabulous linen. And this is my progress this time. So last time I come up and turned the corner. This time I've gone right across the top, and I got plenty of room. So I kept this one really well, and I've pretty much filled in everything across the top. And look at that blue coat blue. Isn't it stunning, that bright peacock blue? And the red, yellow and green, like a sort of Rastafarian colour border going all the way. This is just so much fun. And Red Rocks is going a single stitch border all the way around as well. So there she is. She really is coming on. She's massive. I don't think you can get the real scale of how big she is on here, but yeah, she is very big. And I had a panic about the counting on the bottom. I just thought I should stop where I was and take the border down, just so I'm absolutely sure that everything will count up, because there's so much room for error on the bottom. But isn't she stunning? And I'm not going to let myself stitch any more of these huge houses, castles and lawns with sheep. Those type of projects like Sarah Stewart Hardman, and oh, there's another one, isn't there, that's very similar. I've got the charts for them all, and I'd love to stitch them all, but I'm going to finish Lottie first. I really am. I think I'm over a third of the way done now, if not pushing on to halfway. If I can come down the side, I think I'll be almost halfway. So I can't wait. I've had her ironed, waiting to share with you so that I can get back to her. Yeah, so when I come back from my next Flosstube, it'll just be a few projects, because I'm away now on another trip, and it'll be the middle of the month in October before I know it. So the next whip I always try to get a bit of progress on in my fabulous Laurie Holt Prairie range fabrics that I did a bit of quilting on the back, made up from the panel and lined with Songbird. That is, I did my Happy Place quilt. That was the backing for that one. And this is my beautiful Welsh girl, Jane Bannister, 1855, my Anglesey North Welsh sampler with the kittens, and I haven't even started on the pastoral scene, but I did make a little bit of progress. So this project is stitched on a beautiful tabby cat linen with, it's an unnamed one that I picked up at the Great British Sampler Weekend off Michelle's table. And actually I got quite a few unnamed linens from her. This is stitched with all the Embroidery that Phil bought me one Christmas, the whole thing kitted up from 123 Stitch, and the colours are just spectacular. And I actually enjoy stitching on Embroidery because this linen is 37 count, so the puffy silks sit fine on it, and I'm really enjoying it. And I think you just get that thickness of the thread, makes the colour pop even more. So this time I did this basket in the middle and the little green and red berries there. But yeah, that was quite a bit of stitching. Isn't it gorgeous? Look at the colours. It's like a pale straw yellow and that vivid red silk. Just beautiful. So she's coming on, but the top row still isn't done. Yeah, just love the colour of this linen, and it's on a Sotimer base. So hopefully Michelle Tabby Cat Linen will have more samples like this when she comes to the Swindon retreat in October. And I've got a list of linens that I need to get from her. I'd love to get my hands on that lichen, the greeny grey one that the new Hats Maria Wales Newsom, the stitch along for January, is going to be on. And I'd like to get some creme brulee as well, with that really crazy red sampler linen that everyone's got that I've never had and would love to have a go up. So that's my progress on Jane. She's absolutely beautiful. I love her, but there's not enough time to stitch on her. Then my next project that I do, which has to be one of my favourites every month without fail, is my Mani Di Donna Eunice Tanquerel. It's a horrible chart, but it's a beautiful stitch. And I'm doing the DMCs, and I'm using the called for, which is Weeks 40 count Cocoa. And I think the model was stitched on 32 count, but it's beautiful on 40 count. And in my Barry Stitch Folk bag with my Nancy Strawberry. And this is what she looks like. She's got a little bit creased because the pile is getting so big, but look how it's coming on. What gorgeous, gorgeous linen. And Roberta gave me the linen. Roberta, my lovely friend from the Sable Stitches. So I've just taken the border along the bottom more, and you can see now the full scale of her, because this is starting to come down, and she's not going to be too big, but the most beautiful shape, because she's sort of landscape, isn't she, instead of portrait. And I love that, and I love the linen. It's the most beautiful colour. And look at the DMCs. So I can't wait to start some of the little motifs. And this is what I've done this time. The palest DMC pinks. You just can't beat them, can you? Look at that. Yeah, so that is, did I say what she was called? Eunice by Mani Di Donna. Then the next one, I don't think I made any progress on this last month, so I was really pleased. I spent a day on her. So this is in my gorgeous bag, kindly made for me by Rika King, House of Stitch and Stash. There's her logo. And this beautiful, look at her copper plate writing she can do. So this is Mary Ann Farmer, 1834, and we are using the Attic silk conversion that Rika so kindly sent me. I haven't got the silks to show you because they're in my, I forgot to bring my box over. But this is Mary Ann Farmer. This is a chart I just found in the attic on the Scarlet House stand, you know, that swirls around. I picked up a few, and I'd never seen anybody stitching on this, and I just fell in love with it. I thought it was just so pretty. So the first time I did this big bouquet of flowers, and now I have done a little bit. I can use my lovely new Laurie Holt board to show you this. So this time I've taken the multicolored border across the top. So what have we got? We've got, there's 4 different greens in there. One of them, the one on the top, I don't know, the light isn't brilliant, even though it's the most glorious sunny day outside. The turquoise on the top is quite bright. Yeah, it's going to be so pretty. And the big bouquet of flowers is complete. So this is with the 103s, and they're just beautiful to work with. This linen is Cedar River 40 count overcast. It's quite a tight weave. It's the most beautiful colour. And a few people are using overcast for different sort of classic samplers. It's just a beautiful colour for a sampler. Really pretty. So that's Mary Ann Farmer. And the model called for 40 count. Picture this plus doubloon. But my doubloon was very yellow, and I just thought this is a little bit more of a goldy yellow, less bright yellow than my doubloon. It's going to be beautiful. So such a pretty stitch. So that is the Scarlet House using 103 silks from the attic. Next, in my gorgeous Stitch Faux bag by Barry, have I got I've got a little red sampler on the side, and I've got a couple of red samplers in here, but this, the one I managed to stitch on this time, I keep the silks in my little Mary Chokes bag from Hands Across the Sea. I had this in I've only ever had one red box, Words of Wisdom. And so in here I keep my silk for number 305, which is what I picked for my red sampler, called 15 Friends. This is by Cozy Egg, and it's Jane Ann 1871. And I'm doing this on 46 count needle and flax Thornfield, which is beautiful. And because the 103 silk is thin, it's just the same as stitching on 46 count as you would with normal threads on 40 count. It doesn't feel any tighter, and I've made quite a bit of progress this month. So now I've done the alphabet, the Roman numerals, all the way across. So that is going to be the width of it. So she's big. She is a big sampler, but because it's on 46 count, it's going to be quite a manageable size. So here's the first of the numbers of the 15 Friends, 461 for Anne. Isn't it pretty? And I'm obsessed with this colour. I think it's so like the picture, that sort of rusty red, and Sandy Whispered Stitches was influenced me to go with this sort of pinky. I couldn't quite get the colour that she had, but I think it looks amazing on this Thornfield linen, which is just the most beautiful linen. So I've used my entire fat half now of Thornfield between this and all my herbarium little cross stitch labels for the stitchery theme for the year. So I cut 12 labels out of the remainder. I think I've got a fat half of 40 count Thornfield upstairs as well, which I don't want to do everything on Thornfield, but definitely it'll come in for more red samplers. It's just perfect for them. So that's that. And yeah, I'd love to be able to carry on doing a thread a day, because Narissa has finished Harriet Salt by just doing a thread or 2 threads here and there a day. And it's incredible how quickly she finished Harriet. So, and of course I've got a Harriet, so I'd love to do Harriet Salt on 1 thread a day. And then another project I stitched on was this gorgeous one that we got in market this year, and everybody started it because it was for Tara's birthday, a daily reminder. I'm nowhere near finishing mine, but I'm really enjoying it. And these are the stunning colours. I can't get over the colours of these. Carolina Cecile has to be, and Cognac have to be two of my favourite colours. And they're in my other little stitch by Samplers Not Forgotten with the little cottage, the pin roll, which I need to get back to. I've left that, I haven't touched it for months. Yeah, so there's a daily reminder. Gorgeous, gorgeous, on this stunning linen by Cedar River in my lovely project bag. A little bit of sass. This is by Sophie from Turtle Bay Fabrics that I picked up at a little retreat that she came to here in Wales. And this is my progress. So I did a fair bit. I could do this smaller board actually. They're all falling off. So this time I did all the leaves on the trees, and look how that pops. Oh, look at the colours. This is just such a beautiful stitch. And I did this little, I think I'd done the stems of the trees. This time I did all the leaves, and I did this little basket, so I can hopefully start to do some of the Smyrna crosses for the cream letters that go all the way up the side here. Just love that. And it did take me a while to get my eye in. On the roof I made literally one stitch in, one stitch back. I got nowhere and I had to rip everything out many times. But once you get your eye in on this arboreal, it is fabulous. This is 40 count Cedar River arboreal, which is like molten metals, greens, golds, bronze, all in there. It's the most stunning linen. And I think this is going to be so pretty. It's one of my favourite stitches. I say that about them all, don't I? Okay, then, well, no, one that isn't my favourite, but in my beautiful, now I always say this wrong, this is handmade by Sojo B. Remember I told you this is a girl in Chepstow that makes these beautiful bags, and a lot of the girls down at the Cowslip retreat had bags from her. I've got a blue one as well, and this is made with the blue one, Sacre Bleu. I can't remember the range of this, but it's French General, and it's beautiful and really nicely made. So I got this bag from her and a little thread bed inside. And this is housing my naughty sampler that I said I didn't like. This is Sampler Hill. I'm not going to throw it out. I'm going to persist. I don't really like the linen. One, it's not on the old, it's on the old week space, not Zweigart, and it's very, very yellow. So actually the photographs that I took make it look amazing. It's not in person. It's very yellow and quite ugly. These are the stunning colours. Sampler Hill. So pretty. This is my progress. So I didn't do much on her, but I kind of need to keep her out just to get rid of this one. Look how yellow it is. Ew. So this time I did this berry bowl, and that was a day. That's all I could get done that day. I didn't do any of the border, which I'd hoped to take more of the border around. So, and I can't remember the name of the lady. I'll fish it out for next time. Somebody sent me a photograph of her conversion. She sent me a photograph of her blue conversion, and it is so much prettier. But there we are. I'm two in now with cider, not cider vinegar. Is it apple cider? These kind of like yellow, orangey colours. I'm not a big fan on the yellow, but there we are. It'll be very cute and very whimsical and very with thy needle and thread when it's done, I'm sure. And actually, even on the camera, it's looking okay. In person, it is luminescent yellow, this linen, but it's coming off sort of reasonably okay there. And even Brenda Gervais says to outline the windows because hers ghosted as well. So I just, maybe it'll look better when I get the lady in. So I wanted to do this because the colours were darker and I thought it might lift it a bit. And I think it has improved it slightly, putting in the darker berries. So that's that. Yeah, I'm not a fan of olive, Weeks Olive, that bright green and that avocado down here. Is it Classic Colourworks? They're just not my sort of colours really, but limey green, yeah. Anyway, that's that. I need to keep her out and just get it done. Then my stitch along with my lovely friend. So this Linda HMB Fog and Lizzie the Stitcher in New Zealand are stitching on this as well. We do this on the 25th of the month, and I did make good progress, but I'm not going to be able to do it this month because I'm away. This is in my fabulous Accufactum bag that Nikki's mum, Glynis, made at the Stitchery. And occasionally in the shop she has lovely project bags for sale, and this houses my Bells on Christmas Day, and we're all stitching this one, and this is the Bells on Christmas Day, the sampler. So this is by Blackbird Designs in this beautiful book that I've got a few of that I've finished. This is what I keep all my project bag tags in my little bag. At Christmas I'll try and remember to bring it out to show you. It's so pretty. Got a lovely thread bed in here, and these are the classic stunning colours by Blackbird. Look at the reds, the baked apple, red pear, very Stacey Nash as well, aren't they? But just love those Blackbird colours. And this is, I'd love to be able to spend a bit more time and just get it finished, because at the moment I'm running a risk of not having this done. Surely I can have this done by Christmas. I have to, because next year on the 25th I really want to start to do one of the Christmas stockings by Dimensions on every, put it out like Samantha the Hygge Stitcher is doing a stocking every 25th of the month. And I want 12 whole months to get a really good start on it. So here we are. I think this time I must have moved down here. I think so, because I'm pretty sure I'd done all that last time. So I am coming closer. There's one berry, one leaf down here that I need to fill in because that's in a different colour. Please don't let me forget. And this is stitched on 40 count, picture this, plus oaken, which is a stunning brown, very mottled linen, but no green, just brown. I love oaken. I've got other finishes on oaken, and actually one, I'm going to show you some of my autumn finishes because I have decorated now for autumn. So I need to share that with you. Then what have we got next? Next, I have my whip goes, okay? And I did do, before I went sailing, I managed a day on this whip go. This, I don't think I've ever shared with you. This is in a project bag I made myself with some beautiful old French toile de joie type fabric. And it's got a really cute little cross-stitched fob that somebody gifted us. Do you know, I have got it written down who made this for me. I'm going to check it out for next time. I'm pretty sure I was given this at one of the attic retreats. It could have been Autumn of Abundance. Yes, because it says 2023 on it. So I would be able to find out who gave me that. I fancy it was a lady from Australia. Ozark. Anyway, I'll find out. Really thoughtful gift. And this is in, I've got quite a few Brenda projects in here. And the reason I put that on here is because Redbird Sampler, one of my favourite Brenda things that I've never started, I house that in there. So this project is stitched on 36 count winter brew. It is called The Light of Winter by With Thy Needle and Thread. And I think it's a companion piece for Winter Rose Manor that I finished years ago. So it's square like that, and I think it's a similar size. So let me show you. It's very pretty. The light of winter, it has got a real Christmassy feel to it because of the colours. So this time I did all the bricks. I'm pretty sure I sat out the garden and I did all the cream brickwork. So I filled it in. And I think that might have been all I did. Yeah. It's a very fiddly, fussy border, but it's going to be so pretty. So I've never shown you this. It's the one with the crazy cherubs, look. And all the snow and the deer. Yeah, I've got a lot to go. And the border, as I say, is very, very detailed. So I'm using all the called for on the 36 count R&R winter brew. And the threads look like this. Yeah, really, really pretty colours. Lots of reds and greens. So yeah, what a lovely stitch to be able to pull out. But to be honest, that's on my whip go, so I'm not likely to get back to it for some time. But it's ironed nicely now, so I could put that away. But the next time, if I manage to get 5 minutes to do anything Christmas or New Year, and I think I started that on my birthday in January when the year it sort of came out and it was new. And then my next whip go, I got loads of work done. This is in my beautiful bag I made myself with some sort of summer fabric with a lollipop lining, and I made a little thread bed for it. And this houses my Lila's Studio. Lila or Lila's. And this, I've got the paper chart for this one. This is Summer Quaker. This was called on my Whipco and it was perfect to take sailing. So this is one of the projects that I took. And in fact, when I was away, it was the only one I stitched on. Now this, I'm using the called for. I'm using the Fibre on a Whim Latte, but I'm not doing mine on 46 count. I'm using 40 count because it's pretty full coverage. I think it's all DMCs. Yes, it is. Here's all the threads. And this is, I just kept this out, 162, because it's solid filling. So let me just put that back in there. I managed to get so much done this month. So I put a photo in at the end of the before and after so I can remember now that last time I had done the fish and the jellyfish here. So this time I did all the other little sea creatures, those little pink jellyfish and the little sharky things, the whale. And I might have had the outline done. So I did all the filling, and then I did all of this along the bottom, and then I took sailing number 162, and that's all I did, because you can't really count when you're sailing along, you know. So it was lovely to just be able to do mindless filling. I was hoping to get her finished, but I've just run short, look. But the mermaid's starting to come to life. I just need to fill in here and I think up here. And I did the blue all around the boat, so the ship is finished. So I'm very close to a finish on this centerpiece, and I can't tell you how much fun this is. It's such a fun stitch. And there's a stitch along with Samantha, the Hygge Stitcher, on the 21st of each month. She stitches on that season Quaker, so she'll be switching now to autumn. I don't have autumn, I just have the Christmas one that I just got at market very recently. I've got the PDF. I made a start on that, and I started the same on the little houses, and I think there's a skating pond, it's beautiful, called Peace on Earth. And so this summer stitch along is called, do you know, I can never remember. Is it Stitch in the Sunshine, Sal? Because I think that's going to be the saying, stitch in the sunshine, breathe in the air, or something like that. So that was so much fun. And this linen is gorgeous. Latte by Fibre on a Whim, 40 count, using all the DMCs. So that'll go away now for Whipco, because I'm just feeling fall now, or autumn. Then, so that's my Whipcos. Then I had a few new starts. So, and one other thing, I did take the time out. I was fed up of looking at the panel. I've been sitting on this panel since January when I was at the attic, and I picked up Jessie Challoner. And so I thought, right, I made myself, before I went sailing, I think, I went into my sewing room, my dining room, and I stitched this using gorgeous Kim Deal fabric that I picked up with Crafting Kirsty, my lovely friend that I go to the Malvern Quilt Show with, and Leslie. Hello, Leslie. And we picked up some of these Kim Deal grungy greens and gorgeous, gorgeous fabrics. And I thought it went quite well with the bright Jessie Challoner panel that we got given. Now, when I made this bag up, I loved this so much that when I actually discovered, I kitted mine up with the muted silks. So I got the 103s and the linen for the muted set. And I was kind of gutted, because when you've made the panel up, it's this one that I was drawn to. And I think if I was back in the attic now, I would pick this one. But at the time, obviously in January, I was feeling the muted one. And I know that Jean started the muted one on Lakeside Sand Dune, I fancy. But we couldn't get Sand Dune. So I've got the silk pack and the, here she is. Oh, did I write down? Now, this is a Mason linen. Yes, I did. I'm doing this on Jessie Challoner by Hands Across the Sea, 1904, on 40 count, Mason haberdashery, medium light. Mason linen, haberdashery, medium light. And it is a gorgeous, cold, stone grey. It's got a hint of beige, but it's pretty grey. And I managed to get quite a bit just of that one colour green that will sit. Let me show you. It's this. It's quite a lot of the counting, so that now I can start to put in some of these gorgeous red flowers. Well, will mine be red? I think mine are pink and yellow. So I've done some of this green here. She's not going to be huge, Jessie, so hopefully she's not going to take me, 10 years, but like some of my others. But you never know, do you, when you're only doing a day on something. So that's my little start on Jessie. And I did this because Narissa does stash sampler starts, doesn't she? And I know Carol obviously has been doing sampler summer. So I was encouraged to say, come on, you've got all these things sitting in project bags that you've never started. And so another one I started then in my gorgeous, this is my newest, I think I showed you last month, the Strawberry Thief fabric by Barry Stitch Folk, with this stunning French themed stripy fabric. Look, and I've got the Chateau Renard Provence badge on mine. Look at that fabric. Oh heavens, it's just gorgeous. And I've gone over the top here because I've got two. I've got my Nancy 5x Blessed Sampler Maker fob here, which is beautiful, but also Laurie Holt red scissors because, well, why not? And I've also got the sheet that I showed you from Maureen that she so kindly gifted me, that came from my American U, because my second start that I managed to do for September, guys, you're gonna love, this. I haven't even ironed it because I only started it yesterday. This is how behind I am because I've been so ill this week. I started another chart I bought at the attic. The Scarlet House, the 7 sheep sampler. I have had this kitted for so long in terms of the thread and the chart, but I was waiting and waiting for the linen because it calls for 40 count Lakeside Autumn Gold, and it does need to be a dark linen to pull off these bright pink and yellow colours that are in here. So I was waiting and waiting, and then I just thought, it's just never going to happen, is it? I'm never going to get my hands on all these Lakesides that I'm waiting for. But it was kind of sitting there and perfect for a stash sampler start. So I thought, right, I'm going to start it. So here are the beautiful threads. And that bright, bright pink is Raspberry Parfait. And I think these are all Gentle Arts. Yes, they are. And the Raspberry Parfait, look at that. It's very bright pink. So I just put a tiny weeny start, and I'll tell you the linen. Have I written down? Yeah, okay. I made a very, very small start, but I did, let me take my clip up. I've still got my Clover Wonder clip on the top. So to give you an idea of the size of the linen, it's quite a big piece, and I've made a very pathetic start, but I wanted to just make sure that it would fit, and it will, because I've just gone across the middle with this one border starting in the centre with the bright Raspberry Parfait, and I'm just going around that tiny flower with the yellow, something like autumn gold, a pale lemon colour. Just wanted to check, because this linen is another Tabby Cat unnamed 40 count. Now the other one that's unnamed is on a Sotomer base that's 37 count for my Jane Bannister. This is 40 count, but I was a bit suspicious because it seemed a bit of an open weave. So I thought the only way to check it is to go get the border in, isn't it? And that, if I show you on the chart, so the border I've just started is running from right across the middle. So I've only got the 2 green borders trailing at the side, and that will comfortably fit. So I'm confident now that this is, you know, going to be absolutely fine. And I just thought, compared to the chart, I'm going to have to take it out the paper because, sorry for the crinkling. I just thought it was the most incredible match because I couldn't get autumn gold. I wanted to try Brea because, of course, Maureen gave me that stunning fat half, but it was just too bright pink on yellow. Brea's very, very, I should have brought it down to show you. It was a better, more like Hemingway, Needle and Flax Hemingway. And I checked this actually with Rachel. I dropped her a note and I asked her what she thought about Brea for this. And she thought the pinks would probably clash on it and that Hemingway would be better. Well, as it I have got Hemingway, but then when I was going through my linen stash, I realised that compared to the picture and the threads, the Raspberry Parfait, this was more of a match for the chart. So that's what I went with. And I'm sorry, I know it's annoying when people get a linen that, you know, you can't buy, and I'm sorry that it is an unnamed one. Maybe Michelle can help you identify what this would be. But I picked it up at the Great British Sampler Weekend off her table. So it's 40 count, unnamed Tabby Cat. Very motley and grungy and very dark and stunning, but still a browny grey, and weirdly the sort of colours that I'm very drawn to. So I'd love to get back to that and finish off that yellow border running across there. So that's my 2 sampler starts because Narissa kind of made me do that. And oh gosh, I love her Flosstube so much. And then 2 other starts I had. I told you I was going to be starting this. I think I called it the wrong thing, didn't I? I called it Scary. Oh, I've forgotten again. It was for Tara did a stitch along, didn't she? And every time the camera goes, I forget what it was called. It was spooky summer. And so to support Tara, and because she's so fun and everything she does is amazing, I wanted to join in. So I did make a little start on With Thy Needle and Thread, Scary Mouse. This is what puts me off. It's spooky summer. And I did Scary Mouse with my lovely Nancy Boo fob on this gorgeous bag that I bought from Patchwork Paw Print. And it's not actually a Halloween or autumn bag, it's just the colours make it feel very fallish. And inside it's got the gorgeous books, Jane Eyre. And yeah, so the colours for this stitch are gorgeous. I've got a lovely picture in at the end, because of course I've got my lovely fob here from Patchwork Rabbit that they did in their, I can't remember whether it was part of the advent calendar, but I bought this from Patchwork Rabbit. And hopefully they're going to be doing another advent calendar for us all this year. That would be great. I must contact Catherine and see if that's the case. But look at all these stunning colours. And so I'm stitching this on Picture This Plus. I haven't written it down. Is it the call for? I think it is. It's Picture This Plus Pewter, which is gorgeous. Look at that. I wanted to call it Dapple because it looks like Dapple Grey, but it's not. It's Picture This Plus Pewter, and I've just made a start in that luminescent corn silk. Sorry, corn husk. Corn silk is that awful Weeks linen that I'm using for Sampler Hill. So there we are. There's corn husk, another horrible lime green, but for this project, it'll be beautiful. So that's a lot of fun. And now it's really feeling like fall here. Although we were in the garden in our shorts yesterday, it was so hot. I'm feeling very excited to get started on some sort of seasonal smalls. How are we doing? 57. Okay. I thought I was going really quickly, but obviously I'm rambling. So that was the start. And then my last start and I'm going to try and keep doing this. Every time I finish a little Stacey Nash thing from the cowslip retreats, I'm going to start the next project, because we got so many starts and so many things kitted down there. And this is in my Blackberry Primitives, Tonya's little bags that she was selling. Beautiful. And my gorgeous little table gift from Sherry, Just So Sherry, that made us a little chick and gave one to Stacey. How thoughtful and kind. And so this houses my next project that I started was this one. So this is a kit that the second group that went to Cowslip got, and I managed to get a spare copy of this Spring Parade sewing box. So you get everything in there, the little box, you cut the top up, and it's got a duck, it's got a rabbit, and it's got a sheep. So the 3 animals on the Spring Parade. So even though it's not seasonal, I want to keep my Stacey projects going. You've got to have a Stacey thing on the go. And this one is another type of Blackberry Primitives linen, and this one is called Portsbury Beige, and it's a gorgeous colour. It's a very loose weave, and I've made a little start on it in the middle, a tiny start, but if you don't start them, you're not going to finish them. So it's quite different to this more grey. This is Fossil. The back of the bag in dark brown was Salem, and this is Portbury Beige, and I've got another different colour by Tonya upstairs, as well as the pink and the blue. I've also got one called Harbour Grey, which is a beautiful colour. So this is the more brown of them all. So it's going to be a long thin piece wrapped around a box. So I'll keep you posted on my progress on that each month. And so that was that. Then in terms of cross stitch plans, what am I really excited about? Well, again, Tara, Selly Stitches, is starting, somebody said she needs more than one birthday, she needs a mid-year birthday as well. So everyone's going to be starting Merry Autumn Pinky. I've been sitting on this for ages and I thought, brilliant, I'm just going to get it started. So I picked a bit of linen. I couldn't get the called for. The called for was 36 count needle bling broom grass. I could get that actually. I think it's available at Peakside. But I had what I thought was an absolute dead ringer of a match of linen. It's coming over a bit orange there. It's less bright, much more muted in person. And I just thought it would be really lovely with the colours that are here. I've only got some of them actually. So let me show you. I'm going to have to order, when I get back from Kentucky, the remaining colours. So isn't it pretty? Another Stacey start that I've always wanted to do. And Gem Stitching has started this, and she's done her own colours for the girl, which is just, she's made such a lovely start. So she really encouraged me. She's got such a great Flosstube, wonderful sampler starts for Sampler September. And I am using, now the linen I picked, this is by Hazel Anderson, Foxglove and Lace. I don't know if Hazel's still dyeing linens, but this is 40 count. And I haven't written it down. No, it's gone. I can't remember what it was. I'll have to write it down to put it on my project bag once it gets housed in one. So I'll tell you next time what it was called, but it's the most beautiful linen, and it's her clotted cream linen that I stitched my bygone Quaker Christmas songs of the season, Quaker 2. Just beautiful and soft. So that's something for plans that I'd like to get started. Another thing I'd really like to start, but I haven't got the linen, is Quaker Snippet #1 by Brenda Gervais, just released. I just thought that was really cute, although there is an incredible long list of about 20 different colours that all pretty much look the same. These are the ones I pulled. There are so many orange browns that you could just honestly use the one. But I'm going to get them all. A lot of them are spread over other projects, so I need to pull them or replace them. And the call for linen is Maple Bar by Cedar River. So I've got a few linens that are this colour, but I thought I'll wait until Mrs. Parkman's Academy in Swindon, because I heard that Jodie Trixie Tricycle Cedar River linens is going to be there. There are going to be, so I'm hoping I can pick up some Maple Bar when I'm there. And there's no rush on starting that because I've got my Merry Autumn Pinky. A couple of other things I thought would be lovely to keep in mind for Sampler September. I made this project bag recently with a panel that we had from Vicky Jeanette's Needlework Press at Sampler Symposium, and I've got the chart for this sampler from Mrs. Ventum's boarding house, and I made it with French General fabrics. And this one I got at, I kitted this at the attic at Sampler Symposium with all the 103s in my little shepherd's bush bag I made last year. This is Mary Ann Buck. I just love this. I love the red house. I love the cheeky little goat or donkey pushing his head round the side, and the sentiment, the saying. I'll just read you this. Swift as the winged arrow flies, my time is hastening on. Quick as the lightning from the skies, my wasting moments run. My follies past, O God forgive, my every sin subdue, and teach me henceforth how to live with glory in my view. I just love that. And it's not too big, and it's beautiful. And I've seen the model stitched at the attic, and that's the model. And that's the original. So Mary Ann Buck, I've made the bag, I've got the silks, I've got the linen. This is the Mason linen that the model was stitched on. There's a lot of 1/1 there, so I hope I got 40 count, nothing bigger. Yeah. So it'll be a challenge, but it's beautiful. I've seen it made up, and it's just such a lovely memory because I went to Vicky's house, you know, to her workshop, and she was such a gracious hostess, and she's just so kind and thoughtful. I'd love to keep stitching as many of Vicky's charts as I can. And then another thing, I can't believe, I'm embarrassed I haven't started this. When I went in 2023 to the Great British Sampler Weekend, one of the best presenters there in terms of entertainment, she's hilarious, was Jane Greenough. And Jane is going this time in October, and hopefully she'll have her stall and all her things for sale. I bought a chart from her. I took it out the original package. It's not brilliant, the chart, because all the pages are big individual A3s that I took photos, put them on my phone, so I'll track it on a PDF that's more manageable. But this sampler is stunning. It's Catherine Archer's sampler. And if I show you the picture, it's one of the samplers from the Ackworth School, the George Muller Foundation, that's got this phrase: "Behold the book whose leaves display Jesus the life, the truth, the way." There are lots and lots of red samplers with that quote and the Bible in the middle, but this has to be one of the prettiest. I've got Louisa Coulimore all kitted up. She's been kitted up for years, but I'm just more drawn to this. And wouldn't it be lovely if I could get a start on this for Sampler September and take it to the Mrs. Parkman's Academy to Swindon and get Jane to sign this if she would, and just make a little start on it. This is how the kit, this was the little picture pinned to the front of the chart when I bought it, and that's Jane's little signature. So when I was there on her stall, the little chart came with this. She has the fabric for Catherine Archer, and what's the date? This sample is quite old. I think she thought, okay, she doesn't know absolutely. It was stitched in about 1865, so it's a beautiful old one. And when I was there, she had a fabulous stall, and I treated myself to this notebook covered. She has the fabrics printed for her samplers, and this one is, I can't see now, oh yeah, at the top, Catherine Archer. It's the most gorgeous linen book, and it's got a little thing down the back. I've got so many little things, you know, shoved away in drawers, so I made the effort to track down the chart, track down the book, pull it all together, and I'm not sure. No, this has got nothing to do. This is Harriet. This was something else we got at the Great British Sampler Weekend. This is dusty because it lives on my desk. It lives on my desk permanently. You didn't see that. I think I put these, I can't remember whether the scissors came with it, and tied, but this is for, talking of Nerissa and Harriet Salt, I've got the gorgeous little scissor box, but some things, I think we were given this, I think it was one of the gifts at the Great British Sampler Weekend. So they're kind of, I don't know, along the same theme, and it makes me excited to go back to Swindon and shop some more with Jane Greenough. And I'm going to her finishing class. I've been very naughty. I haven't finished the needle roll that was the homework she gave us. I haven't even started it. I just knew I wasn't going to have time to do the homework, so I didn't stress about it. I didn't try, but I'll be going to her class and just watching her and her tips on how to finish. She's such an engaging lady, Jane. She's a riot, and she makes her husband run the shop while she talks. And some of her stories are hilarious. So you're in for a treat when you meet her. And then one last thing would have loved to have started, but I've run out of time, was Mary Wigglesworth. This is the little chart that I picked up at Cowslip. And I've got so many samplers fully kitted. I haven't got the linen for this. This is, I believe this was Creme Brulee by Tabby Cat, another one that's on Creme Brulee. So I'll be keeping an eye out for Creme Brulee 40, possibly 46 count actually for this, because I'd like to get the 103s. I've got most of them because so many of the colours duplicate, and I've got the spools for other samplers. So I could make a start on her. But what a beautiful little booklet for her. So that was some plans. So that's my cross stitching done. Then I'll just quickly cover, how are we doing? 110. We're all right. Quickly cover some of my embroidery. I didn't have time to prepare my Christmas piece that I did do a few stitches in, so I'll show you that next time. But what I did finish was just before I went sailing, as soon as I got back from sailing last week, this is what I finished because the kit hadn't arrived in time to take, and it would have got grubby on the boat, so I didn't take it. This is Herbarium by Nikki Franklin at the Stitchery. I haven't bond webbed this on, I just pinned it in place while I was ironing it to show you. This is Echinacea, and this is padded satin stitch, 3 different peaches, and a mass of brown French knots just piled in to look like the coneflower. Lovely fun stitch, really pretty, and just the most gorgeous colours. And in fact, I had one coneflower. The slugs love mine, so I only had one this year, and it was identical to this colour, and I wish I'd taken a picture of it. Hindsight's a wonderful thing. And the label. So I'm up to date with my herbarium homework. And then I did before I went sailing, this is what I managed to finish. The Stitchery Sisters on 46 count needle and flax Hemingway, the little cross stitch piece, and this is the label that will go with this in the book if that's how you want to finish it. And so that's the little label, which actually took days and days. They're always deceiving how long they take, but they are a lot of fun. So it's used medicinally for anxiety, cold, toothache, inflammation, cough, and that gorgeous variegated blue thread there. I think it's blackboard. And then one other thing, I told you I was starting, I'd signed up for the Nikki's meditation book class, which is a series of online lessons. It's amazing just to listen to her, even if you've never stitched the book. I've only got, I think, 2 or 3 of the parts played, or I think there are 5 or 6 parts. But I did have one piece as a little sort of kit form. I think I got it at Valentine's. And so I managed to stitch one of the parts towards making the booklet. And this is what mine looks like. So this is velvet over piled pieces of felt that you do this 2 ways. You can either sort of roughly pin down some layers of felt and lay the velvet over the top and couch it down with loads and loads of tiny French knots, and these are in silk. These are a Varissois red silk French knots all around the edge here. Or you can, Nikki says, put the velvet down, leave a gap and sort of stuff a little bit of wool in to give it. So I don't know if you can see how raised it is, but it's very, very textured. And so the label hardly sits straight on it. But this is the label that I had from the Stitchery, even though I can make my own. And I've got my typewriter, you know, my Olivetti, you can just type on linen scraps. This is one that I got from the Stitchery. So I just couched that on, and a load of beads sort of clustered around the side. And some gorgeous woven wheels and a few lazy daisies and some French knots. You just cram in what you can, a little bit of sequins. Can you see them catching the light? I'm not sure. Not, you know, less is more here. You don't want lots of sequins. You just want a couple to keep it sort of, I don't know, just a hint of bling. But obviously the muted DMC roses, you can cram those in. So hopefully you get the idea. So now this feels beautiful. This is a leftover from my Mary Jo Heine strawberry. A piece of velvet that was left. Or maybe it's a little bit that Britta gave me, because Britta gave me some of her little velvets that she picked a load of colours from Mary Jo Heine's and had them all shipped. So she was very kind and gave me a few pieces. I'm not sure, but either way, it's the most stunning pinky orange red velvet. And weirdly, it doesn't fray. It's quite nice to work with, and this is on the most fabulous old slubby linen. So that's towards a page in my meditation book. I've got more little things that I finished. This is the big one. I've got some tiny little hearts, but it's a wonderful class. I thoroughly recommend it. And you make up all these little things and then put them in a book. So it's a long-term project. Next time I'll share with you more. So that's my embroidery. And now I'm just going to share with you my quilting. So I did manage before I went away to do my vintage Christmas quilt along. This is using the Laurie Holt's recoloured fabric way, because this is using her Hometown Holiday Christmas fabric range, which is just stunning. It's a little bit more muted, I would say, than the pastel ones of years and years ago, which we struggled to get. So this is such an amazing, these were the original colourways, and this is the book that I've had for years. So I'm so delighted to be using it. And this is so much fun because you're quilting along in the order that the blocks are in the book. So now we've got up to I finished the August blocks here. So I've done these, let me show you. So I've done the sparkle block. Let me get this right. Yeah, the stained glass block. I'm not sure actually if I've got these right. Isn't that beautiful? That was so much fun. I'm pretty sure that is the stained glass. Then the gorgeous, really cute stocking block. Oh, look at the stocking. And some of the pieces, guys, the pieces are so tiny. There's always threads. Look at that tiny little triangle there, you see? That's like a 7/8, 5/8 of a little, so much fun. And a little sweetie there. So a stocking and a sweet was the kind of fun one this month. And then this one is the taffy block. Now I might have got the sparkle and the taffy the wrong way round. But aren't they beautiful? Very fiddly. They take me a long time. And somebody asked me actually, do I spray my fabric? Do I starch my fabric? And I do. I don't do anything like Kimberly, you know, who uses cans and cans and soaks them. I just do mine on the ironing board on the back. So I spray starch the back and then dry it on the iron. And I know Tammy Ernest, who's a brilliant long arm quilter. I know I've seen her do a layer cake like that way. So you just lightly spray it, not soak it, and then it just stops it fraying. So when you come to piece, it feels firm, but it's not difficult to dry in the beginning. It's just easy. You can go straight in and start cutting. So it's just a bit more stiff and less likely to fray. So those are my 4 blocks for the month. So we've got 2 more months where we're doing blocks like that, and then we have to move on to the borders and the sashing and everything. So, oh, I'm really enjoying that. And the fabrics are just so beautiful. And then I did get quite a bit of work done on my bunny hill. I was very much encouraged by a lovely lady called Nancy, who takes the train, I think she said twice a week, a 5-hour round trip into New York City for work. And she's been taking her bunny hill and quilting along on her tube. So this time I started the appliqued shapes. If I show you here. So this is my summer house by Bunny Hill. And I can't show you this time because they're so big. To be honest, I forgot to bring them. I have now pieced the first row. I've shown you all these blocks individually, but now I've pieced row 1, which is big. That's row 1. I've pieced row 2, which is that, and I'll put photographs in at the end. I asked Phil to take some photos of me, and then the very small row 3 with the cat running the champagne bar and the bird houses, which is so pretty. So I've pieced those together, which was so much fun. But so that's as far as I've got. When I get back from Kentucky, I need to start to do these borders. So you do the sides first. There's 7 scallop pieces and lots of little flowers and birds, I think, and 6 across the top and bottom. So I've started to make these. You've got to make 26 in all. I think I've got about 12 done now. They come out perfectly. Big shapes like this are so easy to turn compared to the little birds, you know. And so I've made my first side row. I have actually hand appliqued these on, and because I was nervous whether they were going to fit, because you know when you draw round shapes, sometimes even just taking a pencil line outside can make the shape bigger than was planned. So you need to be so accurate that when you're piecing this, you think, oh, is it going to fit? Is it going to fit? And it does. And actually, I've got 1/2 inch to trim off there before I put all the pieces together. So this is one of the sides. Actually, it's not going to fit on. They're long, you know. You get the gist of it, don't you? So I've cut my pieces. I've sewn on one side, and I will need to do the other side and the top and bottom, which, I mean, I'll be lucky if I get one of those a month, because it is a lot of work. But that is my Bunny Hill quilt, which I've been really excited to get on with. I'm probably going to be putting it away now and moving back to my pumpkins and haystacks quilt that I started last year and loved, with the Lorry bright fabric. So that's so beautiful. And I have been a bit bad because although I didn't have much haul, I did treat myself to one big quilty thing, which I'll show you now while we're talking about quilts. And this was the stunning Wild Orchid Blackbird design. Now, I've got a fabulous picture of this quilt that was done originally with the Blackbird fabrics at the Malvern Quilt Show. I put a picture in of it at the end, and you can see how beautiful it is in person. So when I heard that Sue at Peakside was getting a couple of these kits delivered, because I know Fat Quarter Shop just completely sold out of this within 24 hours. Did I tell you that I got my Lorry Holt kit at Fat Quarter Shop? And I'll put a link to that in my description box below. This one I got at Peakside, and that's what it looks like. And yesterday Sue had one of these for sale, still on her website. So if you rush, you might be able to grab one before they're sold out. I was so excited to be able to get my hands on one. This is the Raven. It's got to be one of the most famous quilts of all time, by Blackbird Design. This book was unavailable in the UK for so long, and Rika sent it to me, how kind. And these are the orchid fabrics that have been reprinted. And it's got the check that everyone, you know, couldn't really find a replacement for. So now I can't wait to start this quilt. And I'm probably going to use the spray starch method, yeah? Because I think the pieces are all big enough that that could work really, really well for. My points are not perfect using the spray starch method, but I think it's easier than turning tiny star shapes out. So I'm very, very excited to start that. As I say, there was still one left for sale yesterday with Sue, and she's so good to keep getting us these beautiful things in stock. So that's a 68 by 68 inch quilt, not too big, not too big. So that was a little bit, actually my only very naughty haul this month. I've been very, very good. How are we doing? I've done my quilts, and actually Olivia Pumpkin Hollow Quilt is cracking through that quilt, and I know Celeste Creates, they're both working on it, and many others. Olivia from Hillside Rookery has done that quilt or is working on it, and they all use that other applique method called Appliquick. I haven't invested in that. I'm perfectly happy with my little spray starch method, because I think my Bunny Hill quilt, you know, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I think it does look amazing. Even though it's not perfect, it's good enough for me. And this is my little applique box. Do you remember I went on that cartonage class with Sharon, Chris Silver at the Stitchery, and we made a beautiful box I've shown you before. But this, I bought a kit to make one of the little mini baby boxes. It was much more fiddly because it's got a little magnet that you had to clip in as well, using this stunning amiably true fabrics that the Stitchery sell from Italy. So beautiful. And so I made this up, and this is where I keep my little sort of kit for applique in. Actually, for Bunny Hill I don't need a thimble because it's not too thick, but when I used to do my Laurie Holt, my Happy Place, because they're interfaced, and the Hometown quilts, I do need a thimble for that because it's quite thick. Normally for the Laurie quilts I use her threads. How could I forget? The Aurifil threads that are specially coloured for Laurie's fabrics. So I treated myself to a box of those years ago, and they've covered all my Laurie quilts for applique in the shapes down. But for Bunny Hill I decided to use this very, very fine YLI, the soft touch. So it just disappears. If you pick a neutral like this grey, I've got a pale grey, it just sort of disappears and becomes almost completely invisible on your shapes. So with this red, for example, you just can't, you can't tell, you can't see any colour, and I like that. I like that it just disappears. So that's the applique thread I'm using for my Bunny Hill. And then I use one of these, have you seen have I shown you this before? My gorgeous little vintage sweet tin, they're French, and Sue from Homespun with Love sometimes sells these. I think I had this in an advent calendar, I'm sure of it, from Nikki Franklin at the Stitchery years ago. Aren't they beautiful? I've shown you before the little thimbles that she stuffs like this with, always with the most stunning fabric. So I keep that, fits in my little box here. I also have my Kohana invisible little needles that you get sometimes with your Kohana kits. If you get the little wax bags that come with the scissors and the Kohana needles, these are the ones that I use for appliquing with the YLI thread. And what you do, here's another These rubber thimbles are brilliant. Are they clover? I've forgotten. They always sell them at the tills, don't they, in quilting shops. And my little threader from Kohana. Sorry, I'm throwing needles around now. So what you do, this was a tip I had from the spray starch lady. I've forgotten her. I've told you before who I learned the spray starch from. What you do is you thread the needle. It's got a very, very tiny eye, the Kohana needle. You thread it, and then with the YLI thread, because it's so thin, you can knot it and leave the knot in, and it still just slides through the material. You never unthread your needle. I'm sorry if I've told you this before, but you know, sometimes when you just pick up things and you take it for granted, like a quilter's knot, you know, how quickly you do your quilter's knot. You do that and you pull it through your fingers. And I don't know, sometimes my girls who can't put a button on a, you know, they can't thread a needle, to be honest, they say, wow, how did you thread that needle like that? And these are things you pick up, don't you, when you're quilting with other people, and you take for granted. But until you know, you don't know. And that was a really useful tip. So before I was doing hand appliquing, I had no idea that you can tie a knot and leave it in the needle and just carry on. It never, ever unthreads. It's one of the most useful tips I was ever given off YouTube. So that's my quilting. Then, Happy Mail. Okay, I feel really, really bad because I've been sitting on this little Happy Mail gift for months and months and months. But because it came in at Christmas time and I had so much to show and share, I felt I just had too much. So I didn't share it at the time. And it came after the season. But it's perfect. And I can't wait to use this bag. I need to put my Merry Autumn Pinky from Stacey Nash in this today. So this is a beautiful bag made by, and I'm so sorry, Lindsay, that I'm showing this so many months later. Look at the fabric. I'm pretty sure this is the Teresa Kogut fabric because I've got the blue colourway inside, and she's got this gorgeous Time to Stitch in the red, rusty red colourway. Beautifully made, fun size Teresa Kogut bag, made by Lindsay Linds, we call her. Now, she sent me this gorgeous card, and she's Stitchy Linds on Instagram. All the autumn vibes. I've been keeping this all these months to share with you. And she sent me this. She sent me the thread bed to match. How thoughtful. She sent me these gorgeous, I'm sure that's a Nancy Strawberry there, but she also made these pins. I can't wait to put them in my decor because my decor's out now. So I think it had gone away when I actually received this. So I can't wait to put these orange pumpkin pins into some of my finishes, which I'll show you now in a minute. She sent me two of these gorgeous fabrics I've never heard of. Fiberlicious, November colour of the month. This is French Roast. They're 28 count linens, fat quarters, so I could do 1/1 on that or use it as a future giveaway. Let me think about that. And look at this, Fall in Jazz. Gorgeous autumn colour linens. Again, this is a 28 count linen and it's a fat quarter again. French Toast and Fall in Jazz. Beautiful autumn colours there. And these charts, how kind. Queen Bee, I'd love to stitch that. This one, which I've never seen and I love, Blessed is the Life. This is Little House Needleworks, a 30th anniversary exclusive. Blessed is the life that finds joy in the journey. And don't we all do that with our stitching? Finding joy in the journey. And then this one by Abby Rose Designs, Speak Kindly. Just gorgeous little charts, so kind, so generous. And I am so sorry, Lindsay, it's taken me this long to show it. But I thought, well, it's all the autumn feels. And yeah, so I'm going to be using that now. Then some other little things I treated myself to. I've been very good. You know, I'm in my Fabric of the Month club, and these are actually all along a similar theme. The first is my 40 count linen that I get from West Green Loft Yarn, Vicky, who's up in Scotland. She's got a lovely blog, by the way. So this month, it almost goes with my Accufactum. It's a pale green. It's the most gorgeous pale pistachio green. I don't know whether the not Charlotte Newsom, the Maria Wales Newsom would possibly work on that. I don't think it would be big enough because this is just a fat quarter. I think you need more. I think you need a fat half. But this colourway is called Regency, so that means it's something she's going to be stocking. And what a gorgeous name to describe that linen. I couldn't love it more. Just quickly, I know I'm going on, but I promised for so long to give you a sort of side by side. And to be fair to Vicky, I'd like to do this because they are so beautiful. Look at some of the colours now I've had from my... So now you can tell that that's green. So we did get this pink here and a lemon and this green. So we got 3 sort of pastels and then this dark grey and so many useful neutrals. What a fabulous Fabric of the Month club that is. I can't recommend it enough. It's so pretty. And I don't know whether I'll do it next year because who was I listening to that said they just treat themselves anyway? Was it Shanta from Ohio? Or Idaho, sorry. From on that Continental Divide, Shanta Stitching. She's such an amazing quilter. I think it was her that said that she doesn't do a club of the month. She just buys whatever she likes that month. So you can never go wrong. There's never a colour you're not going to like. Just let yourself have a fat quarter every month. These are the Accufactum fabrics this month. Absolutely beautiful. They've only just arrived. They're very Christmassy. So we got the green with the white and pinky Christmas rose. The blender is this gorgeous like linen effect. Then the beautiful sort of Christmas rose, but with the mistletoe and the fir, the pine cone feels. And then the last one is just gorgeous. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with these, but at the moment I'm just looking at them, piling them up on the top of the piano. And at some point I'll hold them all up, what we've had for the year, but what a beautiful club that is. Then a couple of things. I did get some threads from Peakside. I picked up this because I just thought that would be really fun to do at some point, to make some gift wrapping ribbons to tie gifts up. And then I did treat myself to the board that Sue had at Peakside for these Teresa Kogut finishes. I'm a sucker for a seasonal stitch, and I've just realised the third one is released. So I've got the summer one, which is A Time to Work. I got the spring one, which is A Time to Sew, and A Time to Reap for autumn has just been released, so I do need to pick that up. Don't buy them all, guys, so I can get one. And the Christmas one I don't think has been released, or the winter one. So that's that. That's all. Oh, and then one other thing I did get. I've got some photos in at the end of my Harriet. On Monday last week, she was a bridesmaid for Mimi, one of her oldest school friends. They went to reception together in the little school up the road. And the 5 bridesmaids that Mimi had all went to Cardiff High together. The kids have been walking past the window this morning because school's back and I'm on the school run path. So it just reminded me how lovely that those 5 girls all went to school together. And now they're kind of, Harriet was bridesmaids for Mimi. and I wanted to put a picture in of the brides and the bridesmaids just so you could see their dresses. The weather was wild. It was a really, really gale force wind that day. But they just, in a way, the photos are amazing for it because you've got that magical light, and they're windswept and it looks so natural. Mimi was such a stunning bride. And her mum, Julie, I went to school with at Cardiff High. And Julie, I've shown you before, I bought a beautiful porcelain bowl from. She is Julie Mansfield Ceramic. She's a ceramicist in South Wales. She's got a shop on Etsy called Julie M Porcelain. Please go and have a look. She's got beautiful mini ceramic pumpkins you can buy for your autumn displays. And when I was sailing, I put an order in, I couldn't resist. I'll put a picture in, I haven't pulled them down to show you. They're porcelain autumn leaves in the most fabulous colours. Big leaves, little leaves. I've also got ones with pumpkins and toadstools. She sent me this as a complimentary one. And I thought this is the one I'll share on my Flosstube with you. Look how beautifully they're made. And I've got a string of them in the hall. So I'll put a picture of what they look like all strung up together. And there's a little one of pumpkins, as I say. Please go and have a look at her website because her work is stunning and seasonal. So you can pick up pumpkins now, but she does all sorts of lovely things throughout the year. And you can support Julie. She runs her little business from home on Etsy. So when I came back, I had this to put up in the hall, which was lovely. And then the last thing I've got to share with you are to announce the giveaway winners. Okay, so remember, I get a little package every month from the Fat Quarter Shop. Thank you so much, Kimberly and the team. And I asked you please to subscribe and leave me a comment. Thanks for all your lovely comments and for all your just positivity and lovely things that you share with me. Honestly, I just love your little tales and stories. So keep them coming. Please like and subscribe. And I'm going to tell you who the winners were for last month. So the winner of this beautiful Sweet Summer Cross Stitch by It's So Emma was Wendy Saunders 2393. Wendy, please drop me an email to periwinklestitcher@gmail.com and I will ship this out to you. It won't be now for at least a week until I get back from Nashville, but as soon as I get back, I'll ship these out. The second one was Lovely Ladybugs. And this is a cross stitch by It's So Emma. The winner of this is the Stitch Quarterly, and the winner of this one was Peggy Jenkins 5633. So Peggy, drop me an email with your shipping address. Hip Hip Mogul, designed by Kim Deal to go on one of these fab project bags. The winner of this was Narcissus Stitcher. So please, Narcissus Stitcher, drop me an email. Home for the holidays, this stunning quilt pattern featuring the Kim Deal fabrics. And so these fabrics were Baubles and Balsam. This is a collection by Kim Deal for Henry Glass. And this quilt pattern is Home for the Holidays by Kim Deal. So the winner of this was Mary T. Wombley. Mary T. Wombley. Then Sammy from Little Loops very kindly shared this gorgeous little stitch with us. So the winner of this was Emma Harrison 7558. Emma Harrison 7558. Drop me an email and I'll put you in touch with Sammy and she'll send you the PDF. And then finally, we've got Sarah Steele of Sobe Stitchery. This is Pauline from Sobe Bags, her daughter. She started doing cross-stitch charts. What a piece from Louisa May Alcott, who wrote Little Women. Nothing is impossible to a determined woman. How true is that, guys? And the winner of this, number 6, was Loretta Henderson. Loretta Henderson 8979, and I know Loretta always comments on my Flosstube, so thank you so much, guys, for joining me today. I hope you enjoy the pictures at the end. I will try to come back in 2 weeks and share with you an update on my trip to Kentucky. I'm so excited, but I'm very happy that I've shared all this with you today. Oh, and I've got giveaways. I've got giveaways for today. So the new Fat Quarter Shop things I got sent this time were the Alpha Clippies. If you've had the Alpha Bitties in the past, these are like an improvement on that. You can actually clip your pieces together rather than just pop the numbers and letters on. So they actually clip. So I'll be keeping those. They're super useful. My gorgeous Be In My Bonnet stitch cards from Laurie Holt. This is set Z with the little sewing notions. All these are available right now at Fat Quarter Shop to buy in the store, and I'll put a link to Fat Quarter Shop in my description below. This was the Laurie Holt. It's supposed to be magnetic. Mine isn't. I think it must have lost its magnet coming through the airport somehow. But this is what you sit in the Laurie denim desk bag, you know, that you sit this up to hold your chart against. So I could use this for a finishing piece, I'm sure, seeing as mine has lost. I can't use mine as a magnet board. Then the fabulous It's Sew Emma 12 Cute Designs Be Sweet ornaments, and all of the finishing shapes, sticky board and little blocks for finishing these 12 ornaments are all for sale right now at the Fat Quarter Shop, and they're tiny. They're 32 by 28 stitches each. So what a lovely display they make. Those are the 12 pieces. I might hold on to those. But then I thought I would give away this gorgeous, now this is number 7 in Laurie's series of the Hometown Neighbourhood houses. So these are the cross-stitch designs to go along with the Hometown quilt, which I've got on the hanging up over here. Everything Laurie does is amazing. So this will be number 1. If anyone wants to be entered, please like, please subscribe. Please write in your comments what your favourite linen and thread combination is for a red sampler. I'd be very interested to hear from you. Do you love Tabby Cat Creme Brulee with 103 664? You know, what's your favourite mix for a red sampler? If you do them. If you don't worry. And yeah, so this is number 1, Hometown Neighbourhood Quilt Star House by Laurie Holt. Number 2 are the next 2 seed packet cross stitch series by It's Sew Emma. So we've got Asters and Cosmos. I shipped the rose last month out to a lovely lady that left such a kind comment. These are so lovely, very similar vibe to my herbarium series with the stitchery. So that's number 2. If you want to win both of those, use the number 2. Then number 3, this is another quilt chart, Bushels and Pecks, designed by Kim Deal. And this features, this time, the Pennyberry Farm collection by Kim Deal for Henry Glass Fabrics again. I just love Kim Deal. So that gorgeous Jessie Challoner project bag, that's all Kim Deal fabric. I think her greens are just the most gorgeous. Isn't that pretty? If you want to win that, please use the number 3. That's it, guys. I think that's all of it for this month. So thank you so much for joining me. I'll be back in 2 weeks. And in the meantime, take care of yourselves and happy stitching. Bye.